What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Sons of Montezuma Spitballers, where we cover everything Aztec baseball and softball. We're going to give you a bit of a rundown today about the Mountain West tournaments coming up, what just happened over the last weekend for the boys in baseball, and we'll touch, a little bit about softball. We don't really want to try to cram everything into one episode. We'll give them kind of their dues a little bit later on, but good weekend and not so good weekend, but
Yeah. Wish it was good for the other team. On the one day.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Saturday we didn't need that much help in baseball, and we kind of needed a lot more in softball.
Yeah, it was tough. It was a tough hand to draw for softball, not going to lie. They busted their ass in the Mountain West tournament just to get there, and they got a tough hand, and they
put in work though in a lot of those games. So again, we'll talk about that later. Let's get to some baseball.
Baseball. So last time we were on, I think we did mention the fact that the only thing that could actually make it where we controlled our own destiny in baseball was sweeping Washington State, which that's exactly what happened. Which is fantastic.
Sorry, Sean's brother.
It's been so funny because we play so much better at home.
Oh yeah.
Like so much better at home. Like we've had multiple different series where we played the same team, gotten swept on the road, and then sweep them at home. So it's just kind of like, I wish that the tournament was in San Diego and not, where is it, Mesa, Arizona.
Yeah. What's good in Mesa, Arizona? I wouldn't know.
I don't know. Man. So for 3 games, and they all were kind of different. I think that's what's interesting about the weekend for the baseball. 3-2 win, game 1. Yeah, on Thursday. Cipolla pitched his ass off, as he has been for the majority of the season. I think we both were very surprised about Peyton Rogers in that game.
Okay. Yeah, coming in with a good amount of work to do, like for being the guy that you call upon more often than any other relief pitcher. I think he has 30 appearances this season, which is kind of crazy for a freshman.
Yeah, 5 more than anybody else on the team. So yeah, it's pretty wild. I can't believe when he kept him in for the last inning after he threw 4 innings to close out the game, which I was just like, I personally haven't seen him throw more than like 2 in an outing, so that's pretty surprising.
No, he's
on
another level. Yeah, really excited to see him continue his college career.
Yeah, it's wild as a freshman to be the guy, to be the guy that I know last week. I said, basically no lead is safe, and there's not really anybody that you can feel 100% comfortable with. But for the most part, he's been kind of that guy.
Yeah, definitely.
Like high leverage, high stress. But yeah, game 2, 15-2 in 7 innings. That's pretty good too. Pitching was solid. Xavier Cardenas III got his first win in that game. Let's see, 1 run, 6 hits, no walks, 8 strikeouts in 6 innings.
And a 8-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio.
Yeah, pretty solid.
That's pretty solid. And
that was a hit parade day. Everybody, literally everybody. Jonathan Smith, Finley Bates, Jake Jackson all got 3 hits. Nevin Noonan and Evan Sipe and Zane Kelly all got 2 hits. And your boy, Jonathan Smith, homer away from the cycle.
And he can do it. We know he can do it. I just love how he is so clutch. Even in the game 1, where it was just like, oh, we're down by 1. Let me just like hit a triple into the gap.
Yeah. He's great in the outfield, got a cannon, fast, steals bases, takes the extra base. He puts the defense in a bit of a pickle most of the time. If he's running on you, you're probably feeling a little skittish.
And then game 3, a bit of a comebacker, right?
Yeah, senior day, which I was happy about because we were tracking that game throughout the day, and it wasn't looking too hot in the beginning. Then we made that comeback. I mean, it was 10-6, bottom 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then we put up 4 in the bottom of the 7th to tie. And then put up 2 in the 8th to go ahead. And then that was it.
And then an arsenal of relief pitching to shut it down for those last, 2 2/3 innings?
Yep, 2 2/3,
Okay.
4 different guys.
Yeah, including Peyton Rogers.
Peyton Rogers, just to cap off the weekend for him.
Which,
Yeah, dude.
with that, it kind of leads nicely into the fact that he ended up winning Freshman of the Week awards for the Mountain West for his outings, 2 outings this weekend. Speaking of awards, do we
also
want to
shout out?
Yep.
I mean, shout out to the other guys that were part of that, because I mean, I know we've talked about the same guys a lot, just because they're kind of the only ones that are consistently doing well. So I mean, but for 4 relievers to go in and not give up any runs is pretty. I mean, you don't see that super often.
Sure.
So Evan Miranda, Connor Shaw, and Isaac Ariza all were part of that. So, I mean, it's just interesting because it's like the offense for us typically is not the problem. It's usually the pitching. And so this last weekend, you saw a tight game where we won by 1, 3-2, right? And pitching was good. Offense wasn't fantastic, but did the job. Next game, offense explodes. Pitching was still solid. And then third game, pitching falters. Offense makes up for it, and then pitching comes through in the end. So it was just like kind of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde situation with the pitching sometimes, where you're just like, you never know, man. You just never, you absolutely never know.
And you know what that means coming up here for this weekend? It's you can't count us out. There's going to be some of those games where we're going to surprise you.
Yep. So yeah, game. Well, you want to do the rest of the awards for the season, or?
Yeah, sure. There's a couple end of season awards came out just today. We're recording on Tuesday, so we had 2 end of season awards, both of which were Mountain West all second team appearances, and that was Nevin Noonan, our pretty clutch shortstop. Yes, I'm like, he's played a little bit of everything, but recently it's been mostly shortstop because we've had a Rambo at third. Yeah. So Nevin Noonan, killer season, hitting all sorts of dingers and doubles and
dingers.
I want to say he has the highest slugging percentage on the team. I can look that up.
536. Yep.
Yeah.
It's funny because the only person on the team that technically has a higher batting average than him is CJ Moran, but he has 71 less at bats than Noonan because he was hurt. So I mean, 345 batting average. 16 doubles, triple, 8 homers. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty solid, man. I mean, he offensively great, and defensively, I mean, I never really saw him make errors. He fielded great kind of wherever they put him. So
yeah. So congrats, Nevin Noonan, on an incredible regular season. Looking forward to seeing him in the tournament this week. The other award for all second team Mountain West goes to Marco Cipolla.
Marco Cipolla.
Which, of all of our pitchers, there's no questioning who was our best or qualified ace that we had on the team this year, and it is a good lead into being who's your choice when it comes to starting game 1 of the tournament.
Yep.
I don't think there's any other option.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like I'm happy that the way that everything laid out as far as the weekend went and who pitched when, because then it makes it where it's a choice, but there's not a ton of decision because he pitched on Thursday. He's rested.
Mm-hmm.
So game 1 against UNLV is tomorrow, Wednesday, May 21st at I think it's 6:05 is first pitch.
Yep.
I was going to ask you the same thing. Who are you going to start? And I mean, it does kind of take the decision away. Because, I mean, going into the season, Omar Serrano was supposed to be the guy. He's supposed to be the boy. And, I mean, he's had games, and one of them against UNLV that he pitched lights out. I believe that was his 10 strikeout game.
Mm-hmm.
But that was on the road. Or no, that was at home. And then when we played them on the road, he did not do so hot. So, but I agree. I mean, Marco's been, I think I'd say, the most consistent.
Yeah, most definitely. I think he's faltered. He faltered early in the season, but once he got his confidence up, he kind of was lights out for many home and away games.
Well, you know what's funny is the game that was kind of like his coming out party of like, oh man, like he can do this was the UNLV game at home. 3-2 win. He goes 8 innings, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts.
So kind of fitting that he comes into this tournament, and who are you going to call?
You got to feel good about it, right?
Oh, yeah.
But it is, I mean, just going back a history of our season against UNLV, like I said, we play really good at home. Not so great on the road sometimes. So we swept them at home, and it was Marco, Omar, both pitched lights out, and Garvey Rummery. We won 3-2, 5-3, and 3-1. So pitching just killed it. But then we went on the road and we played against them in the end of April. So it was like end of March, we played them at home and swept them. And then end of April, we went to UNLV and we got swept. And it was 8-5, 13-2, 10-3. So if that doesn't tell you what is going to dictate how this game goes, it's going to be pitching. It has to be. And so don't try to do too much. Don't try to be perfect, but gotta quality start.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a quality start in a kind of nice that it's not at UNLV. It's at a third-party stadium in Mesa.
Neutral site, yeah.
But at the same time, it's like you got to come in there with a chip on your shoulder, coming in as the lower seed and take control of the game pretty early and hope that your offense can provide in the scoring run so that you have that buffer. So
yeah. And like let the pitcher be able to kind of at least relax and settle in a little bit, you know, because if you're trying to be too perfect, it's going to be a rough one, you know.
Yeah. Well, and I think that was
walking guys, it's just going to be, that's how the carousel starts. And that's not.
Well, that's how our early season was, where it was a lot of guys being a little wild, throwing a lot of balls, and then getting behind in the count and needing to find that perfect pitch. And it's just when you get to the point of throwing and not pitching, where it's trying to locate the ball and not just rearing back and trying to blow it by him, that's when you're going to start giving up some of those hits because you're almost going to float it in there.
Yeah, especially if you're missing the zone a whole bunch because you just are like, I got to throw a strike, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, I think the most interesting part is going to be, so since we're in a play-in game, you have to throw everything you got at this one game because it's do or die. You win and you move on. And guess what, everybody? We get the 1 seed if we win. So fantastic. If we win, we get to play Nevada. So
yeah,
which is interesting because I will say we only played them 3 times. Like we didn't play them home and away this year. We only played them like 3 times. And we went 1-2 against them.
Well, and that's the thing. It's an interesting thing for college is that it's a 1 game.
Yeah,
pretty much
I think
1
it's
game.
Just, in baseball on every level, for the most part, I mean, the only time you really see tournaments like this is like Little League when it's like TOC status. You know what I mean? Where it's like it's a double elimination tournament, blah blah blah. You get to the end, you're in the loser's bracket. You got to win 2 games in a day. Like once you moved on past that, it's weird to kind of see this because usually, it's series.
Yeah.
And so with baseball, you just never know. Some days chicken, some days feathers. You never know what the heck you're going to get. So it's like you could just go out and everybody can have the worst game ever, and you are supposed to be the best team in the tournament, and see ya.
Right. So if we win Wednesday, do we have a time for when we would
Thursday?
Play? 1 o'clock. Thursday, May 22nd at 1 o'clock. So, and that's when it starts the double elimination. So we win, we play against Nevada, and if we lose, we'll still get one more game. We'll just go to the losers bracket. So it really is beat UNLV.
Yeah.
That's the main thing right now, and
well, it's got to be one game at a time. And whoever might start that if we win, whoever might have to start against Nevada's better be gearing up and ready to go. That's going to be the biggest thing.
Yeah.
What I want to know from our whole season? I want to know the statistics of how long our baseball games take. The ones that don't include run rules, because I swear.
Yeah.
Like, there's a pitch clock, and they're still so long. Which, don't get me wrong, I love baseball, so I don't care. Especially if I'm at the game, I'm like, let it run forever. But
game over, man. Game over.
I mean, right? They're long. I mean, they're like ridiculously long.
I remember the first game going to UCSD this year, and sitting at that game, and it just being like, oh my god, I'm still here. I feel like I've been here like the length of 2 Padres games, and it's
dude. I remember you got there an hour before the basketball game again. I want to say it was against Fresno State started.
Yeah,
and then that game ended, and I got out of it, and the baseball game was still going on.
It was another hour. It was an hour longer than that. And don't get me wrong, it was good that I stayed for the whole thing. We won, but
every single Aztec game that goes all 9 innings is a Yankees Red Sox game from back in like the early 2000s. 4 hours at least, bare minimum. Gotta be like.
I will say, I think the main thing is it has to do with pitching changes. Because when you have games where you're only having 1 or 2 pitchers, they go pretty fast. But the second, like especially early in the season, when it was like, okay, we got to figure out who's our guy, who are we going to go to in that clutch spot. It was like that one game we came to, and like every single relief pitcher was a lefty.
Oh, I do remember that. Well, and wasn't there? That was the time that. Oh gosh, what was his name? I forget. That was when it was like one of the guys that was also an outfielder pitched for the first time, and he was the only one that got anybody out.
Yes. We'll find that out. Was that
the one that my brother was there?
Yep.
And he started heckling the crap out of the other team? Oh, man.
Why are you bunting? You're going to make so much.
They're going to make you bunt?
And then he struck out.
And then he went and cried in the clubhouse.
No bunts! No bunts!
Okay.
I'd never seen a college player go down the tunnel so fast. It's really funny. That's why they had him bunt, because he's so fast. He just had to get out of there. Oh man.
Well, I think
we're losing it.
Yeah. So we will.
I'm excited. I'm glad that we pulled it out. Don't get me wrong. I've been kind of doom and gloom. It's been a rough go.
Hey,
always cheering for the boys. We're always rooting for them. Always. Yeah. I think that's the thing, though. Now you got a chance, so do something with it. Shock them. Like, no one's giving you a chance now in the tournament either.
So we'll do another episode probably either next week, or if the boys keep going, we'll do another update for the NCAA tournament. So we'll either do that, or we'll do a softball, baseball end of year recap.
Yep.
But that being said,
I mean, we should at least mention softball. Rough way to go out, obviously. Beat Arizona State in a really close game, played well, pitched well, and then UCLA game kind of got away from us. I think the thing that totally killed them, honestly, was the fact that they had to wait so long to play against UCSB.
Yeah.
That was a long time, dude. You get run rule early, and then I don't think the game even started till like 9-something at night. We were home from the podcast.
9:30. 9:30 at night.
And so I'm like, that's a long time, dude, to have to like sit and wait and get cold. And it was like raining from time to time. Like it just.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I guess UCSB got to kind of roll straight back into playing.
Well, they're warm. They're ready to go. And that it showed, because what did they do pretty early is score a couple runs, get ahead, and then we were on the back burner the entire time. I mean, yeah, we had a bit of a nice hit from Kelly Decker, but
Right. Yeah.
a 3-run home run will do nicely in the NCAA tournament. But
Yeah. They fought. I mean, don't get me wrong. They fought tooth and nail to try to come back in that and win it, and it was
Well, I
a
mean,
tough. Like I said earlier, tough hand to be dealt.
They were fighting all tournament, even ASU.
Yeah.
Like game 1, we had to go to the 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. Top of the 7th. Bottom of the 7th? Yeah. So and it was back-to-back home runs. It was the long ball was working for us, but I feel like that's all we really could do. I think they were prepared for those little choppers that we usually get people on with, and then like I think we only really had one of those sessions where we get someone on with a bunt, they steal, and then we get a base hit. And I think that only really happened in the first game.
Yeah. We weren't able to create the chaos that we normally do on the base paths. I feel like it was a big part of it.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. When you get into these higher caliber defenses, higher caliber catchers and teams, you're gonna be put in a situation where you're gonna have to find the gaps a little bit more often than we're used to, or at least.
Yeah, well, when the pitchers are throwing harder, that means even when you're slapping it, it's getting hit to the fielder harder, faster. So you lose a step out of the box. They don't have to get rid of it as fast. You're trying to steal, and as a catcher, I mean, you can't get a lead off in softball. So the pop time is just like catch, throw, and so it was tough. It's a tough way to go out. I think that's the thing. It was a great season for the team, like all in all, like everybody contributed at times. People showed how good they are, and it's a bummer that we're losing so many good seniors, but shout out to all of them. They all played their hearts out. I mean, that's all you can really ask for at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Well, and they all showed up in their own way, like all of them, really, except for maybe Dee Dee. Like,
yeah,
I think she only really had 1 or 2 innings there. So
yeah, I am curious to see what happens with Lala going forward, though, because she's a senior. She got hurt early. Does she get a medical redshirt? How does all that work?
Mm-hmm.
Will she be back? If she will, that would be fantastic. But
here's hoping.
I mean, we're just going up and up and up. That's all I can say. I can't be upset with how that went. So I think, all in all, great job. Thank you for entertaining us and letting us talk about everything. We'll just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Let's do it again.
Do it again. Do it again.
Harder? No. You can't use that chant for that.
I knew that was coming, though.
All right,
okay,
everybody.
Guys. That being said, I think we're going to call it for this episode of Sons of Montezuma Spitballers. And with that, like and subscribe on the YouTubes. Check us out on Apple Music or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Anything else that we do podcasts on? I don't.
Anywhere that you hear us, like it, follow.
Yeah, X, Instagram, anything that you can follow, share, subscribe, hit the bell, whatever the.
And even though this is wrapping up, Sons of Montezuma still gonna have basketball and football coverage over, leading up to those seasons. If you need to know what's going on, transfer portal stuff is crazy. Yeah. So follow them for everything.
What's that basketball league that's starting up next month?
Swish.
Yeah, check that out. I haven't been to one of those games, but I'm down to go to one of them.
Yeah, I've heard they're really fun. Really high-end college guys from all over that come here and play. So check it out. Alrighty, everybody, go Aztecs.